A lovely good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show of today, of course, being the 26th of September 2022. I hope you're having a lovely morning like I am. You know, it's a Monday. I know a lot of people would, have second thoughts of getting up, getting ready for work. But hey, let's get prepared for the day. I am your host, Miriam Kaimba, and in studio, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my beautiful colleague, Zipporah. Good morning.
Good morning, Miriam.
Before I could even finish, introducing you, I saw the way you did your breakfast. The smile, the what?
The smile already reaching in.
But anyway, how are you? How is your morning so far?
I think the morning is good today. I think the weather is favorable, and
yes, it is.
Go later into the day, I'm sure it will be really hot.
Yeah, it is. It is. Anyway, I know. Anyway, before we go into our day, did you exercise in the morning? Because I meant to.
And I've got evidence of that on my YouTube history. I was actually following a routine. It was saying 30 minutes. I'm telling you the truth. So I want to do it. But then I thought I should start on 1st October, but then I thought it's better to start early. So I followed 30 minutes routine whereby be instructed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure as we go on, you even see me, doing those models that you see around by December.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm glad that you did take up one or two things. But anyway, today I won't lie, I didn't exercise in the morning. Being a Monday, sometimes you have second thoughts of getting up, coming from the weekend, trying to get ready for the day. But anyway, all in all, we are here to give you nothing but the best. But just right about now, we'll go direct into our healthy corner before we get to be discussing on what we have this morning for you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Dr. Sangire Chiluba. I'm from the Medical Women's Association of Zambia, and this week we're going to be discussing sickle cell disease. So sickle cell disease is an inherited condition that is relatively common in our setting. It's actually found in about 5% of the total world's population, and it's been found that approximately 300,000 babies are born with sickle cell every year, a majority of which are found in low-income countries such as our country, Zambia. Sickle cell is an inherited condition, and it results from inheritance of genes that are abnormal, and these genes code for hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that is found within our red blood cells and is responsible for transportation of oxygen throughout the body. Okay? And what happens in sickle cell disease is that the hemoglobin that is produced in these patients is abnormal. Therefore, in certain conditions, such as in conditions where the oxygen in the atmosphere is low, leading to hypoxia or reduced oxygen supply in the blood, it leads to abnormal shape in the red blood cells. They take up the shape that is sickle shape, okay? Hence the name being called sickle cell disease. Okay? So sickle cell disease, like I said, is relatively common, and it's mostly found in Africa as well as in the East Mediterranean region. It's also been associated with malaria. Some studies have shown that sickle cell developed in a bid to try and fight malaria, because it's seen that in patients that have the sickle cell trait, they tend to be more resistant to severe forms of malaria, but people that actually have sickle cell disease tend to have severe malaria. So in just the past few seconds, you've noted that I've used various terms, including sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell trait is a condition in which one individual has two genes, okay? So these two genes are coding for the sickled hemoglobin, which is the abnormal hemoglobin found in sickle cell disease, as well as the normal hemoglobin. So in which case, these patients tend to have milder forms of the disease, hence attempt to have the sickle cell trait. Then there are those that have sickle cell anemia, in which case both the genes that are coding for the hemoglobin both have the mutation, which is the sickle cell mutation. And when they have this mutation, they have the condition which is called sickle cell anemia. And the third term is sickle cell disease, in which case the patient again will have two abnormal genes coding for hemoglobin, but in this case one of the genes is coding for sickle cell, okay, or the sickled hemoglobin, while the other gene will code for another form of abnormal hemoglobin. Okay? So of the two conditions, sickle cell anemia and sickle cell disease tends to be a bit more milder compared to sickle cell anemia, in which case both the mutations are of sickle cell. Okay? So sickle cell presents in various ways, but essentially it has triggers, okay, that will lead to the development of the signs and symptoms. Okay? So these triggers include things like reduced oxygen tension in the atmosphere, which would lead to hypoxia, or reduced oxygen in circulation. Other things include infections, which could be any form of infection. It could be a viral infection, a bacterial infection. And of course, the third trigger is dehydration. Okay, so any dehydrated status could lead to symptoms of sickle cell. Remember, today we're discussing sickle cell disease, and it's a common inherited condition, and I'll see you on the next edition of this portion of the program.
I hope you did learn one or two things there from Dr. Chiluba, all the way from the Medical Women Association of Zambia, who have continued to give us the healthy tips. And she was talking about sickle cell. I hope you did learn one or two things there. Zipporah, your thought on that topic? I know a lot of people wouldn't, we have had, a lot of people having such kind of condition, but have you ever had someone maybe close to you, or a friend, or what, who has ever found themselves in such a condition before?
Yeah, I think when it comes to issues of sickle cell, like, people need to be, I think there's need for more education, because I feel like in Zambia, most people have got these myths. Even the people themselves who've got sickle cell are surrounded by these myths. I remember one time I had a classmate when I was in grade 8, and then everybody was telling her that you die by the age of 18. Now imagine that kind of torment. What does that do to you? Are you even going to concentrate at school? Are you going to live your life to the optimum? Because people are telling her you won't surpass 18 years, you're going to die.
Well, so, is there like a time frame?
There's that myth surrounding people with sickle cell. So I think these people need to be given the correct information, the correct care, and even just people in general need to be sensitized, because you end up tormenting someone. And me and you, imagine how you're going to live knowing that by this age I'm going to die.
Dying, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's my issue when it comes to sickle cell. And then just a reminder there that the Health Corner is actually up for sponsorship. You can come forward and sponsor the Health Corner, and actually they're very competitive rates. It's not the normal rates that we normally do. It's at a very reduced price, so you can actually come and sponsor the money market. And just now we take the Health Corner as well as the money market.
Yeah.
Just now we take a look at the money market to know how the kwacha is faring against major convertibles. So we have the United States dollar, which is buying at 15 kwacha 16 way, selling at 15 kwacha 91 way. The euro, which is buying at 15 kwacha 23 way, selling at 15 kwacha 54 way. The South African rand, which is buying at 0 kwacha 88 way, selling at 0 kwacha 89 way. The Great British Pound, which is buying at 17 kwacha 25 way, and selling at 17 kwacha 59 way. Me and your thoughts there?
Zipporah, I am loving the fact that the US dollar against the kwacha, it has maintained on the 15. This is a very good thing for us as a country. It shows that we are heading in the right trajectory, and come next year, I think we'll have a lot of things being stabilized, especially the prices of commodities. Already we are seeing a reduction in the prices of cooking oil and other products. Yeah, it's a very good thing for us, and also to those doing businesses, those importing and exporting things in the country. I think this is a very, very good thing. Anyway,
but there's not clear. I'm saying by month end we're going to see an increase in
but we have maintained that for quite some time. It's over 3 months, right? Yeah. So why should you be worried about something? Last time we were even told that no, come at the end of the month we'll see an increase in the price of fuel. But listen, there was no increase. There was a decrease of 1 quarter. So why should you be afraid? This is a very, very good thing. And trust me, Zipporah, I think come month end of this month, I think there'll be another reduction. Yeah. I pray so. I think we're going.
Are hoping for that.
Yes, I think we're heading in the right direction. But anyway, right about now, we'll be opening our phone line, Zipporah, and in studio later on shortly, we will be joined by a guest, and we are going to be looking at trending issues that are happening in our country, talking about cadres, still being in the markets, the road accidents that we keep on recording,
flooding that never gets sorted. Every time when insurance is on, flooding, especially in Lusaka, when
Lusaka is
rain season, everything goes quite late. Now then it's at peace, and then flooding, but why don't we sort it out when it's not raining?
Exactly.
Definitely.
And this is only November. Come December, come January, these will be the issues.
This is September, we're already in November. In September,
it looks like I want the year to end very much.
I want the year to end. We don't want to grow old, some of us. We want to remain young.
No.
Anyway, just now we take a look at one of the stories that we did on Saturday in zooming the headline. So this was a case of defilement. Miriam, put us to speak on that.
This is a case of defilement of a young girl at only the age of 5 years. Who was being kept by her grandmother from her paternal grandmother from the father side, of course, and from there she was not only sexually abused but also physically abused as well. Yeah, she was beaten badly and stuff like that until, neighbors did a mob, arrest and then took her to a victim support where the woman later on was then handed over to the police and charged with assault on the child. But the most sad part about this story is that despite the paternal grandmother, being charged for the assault of the child case, they have not yet established who allegedly defiled her. So no identification has been given yet. Yeah. And this is something that we hope that the relevant authorities are still investigating, and we can be able to, to get more answers before the case goes to the courts of law and, this little girl gets justice. But anyway, let's get direct into playing that story, and we'll be right back. The pain that this little girl has undergone at the age of 5 cannot be described. She stretches her hand, showing me a mark claiming that her grandmother, who lives in Lusaka's Kanyama compound, allegedly burnt her with hot cooking oil, reason only best known by her alleged abuser. This 5-year-old minor of Lusaka's Apollo area featured on Camnet TV on the 10th of September 2022 when her 44-year-old grandmother, Martha Moyo, from her father's side, was reported of having allegedly assaulted her. Her reason was that the minor vomited the food she was given after eating.
namushoda sidikani bati chilipa ngumi na kuko anagwa pa mabloko yalisoma bloko.
After this interview, Miss Moyo was then arrested and detained at Kanyama police station on child assault charges. Zambia police spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed of the case being forwarded to the National Prosecution Authority on the 21st of September 2022. In a surprising turn of event, it has been discovered that the minor was not only physically assaulted but sexually abused. Her grandmother from her mother's side now explains to Camnet TV of how she later learned that the child was defiled too.
Checking manje ku after banuza kuti mwana mchecking eni manje kwa mene kuwenza unkala kuva neighbor. So after kumchecking manje mwana ndio peza zona mwana ukanonongeka na bwana itakona ndaita nakona bakulu ba mai palini. Mayo bwana mchecking zona ene niko na bana batu mwana kumwena lili awe simwa mwene mwana funi konkalira. Ndipo banabwira ba mai manje kwamba tia uyu mwana mwa bantu nzo muyuzinga. Ndipo natumira ba polisi mverani venta peza futi ku mwana uyu ku private party school mushe sindi mwene kufunika kunkalira. I think mwana nzo muyuzinga. Ndiye mwena nyamukira manje wa polisi nakwamba tikansi bwerani ku clinic mumpeleke ku clinic ba doctor mchecking. Ndiye mwena mpelekera zona wa doctor kumchecking azona mwana anapeza kati mwana wenze kumuyuzinga. Ndiye mwene bana pezera ba doctor paka basaina vonsi. So vinasala manje kutana kamba tie ndani mkaenda isediza kutumirani phone vinufunika vitinya mulofti na polisi vende ku polisi. So ndiye mwene inabwerera manje pano niembekeza manje atizo akakuitana nchapede wenda ku court.
The most unfortunate part is that her defiler is not yet known and has not been arrested. All that is alleged is that the incident also occurred the same time she was living with Miss Moyo in Kanyama compound. Human Rights Commission talks about the need to have strong legal protection for children, stating that with the recent child court bill, much protection will be given to them.
Is to ensure that there's a lot of education that should be done among parents and also guardians, because most of the violations that happen to children happen within their homes, within communities, sometimes by close family members, sometimes by parents, sometimes by guardians, and that should be redressed through counseling and guidance, but also effective enforcement of the law where that happens.
Messi Chanda, not her real name, says she wants to be a soldier when she completes her school. However, still recalls the horrific scenario she underwent. No counseling is being offered to the child. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. There you have it, quite a sad story there of a little girl who lives in Apollo who was allegedly defiled, not only defiled, but also assaulted by her paternal grandmother. A very, very quite sad story there. Zipporah, I think there should be, we need to revisit our, our constitution and just see that these people who continue defiling children are given a more punishment, to deter would-be offenders. I know the maximum sentence starts from 15 years going up, but we have continued seeing an increase in defilement cases and stuff like that. So very, very quite, your thought on there, very, very quite sad situation there.
Yeah, and then we find that the situation is that most of these children don't really have where to live, and we find that they're living with their abusers. So maybe if we could improve the living standards in orphanages, maybe even create orphanages like through the Ministry of Community Development, I think that would maybe offer them some sort of protection, because the issue is despite them going through those things, they don't have anyone else to keep them. So I think that's really something sad there. And moving on, we have another story where looking at the issues that have continued in markets, the issues of cadarism. So we're going to be talking about trending issues, and just now open our phone lines so that you can call in and give us your view either on our Facebook or via the phone lines. And we have been joined by Mr. Charlie Kasongo, who's a politician and scientist, to help us discuss trending issues. Good morning, Mr. Kasongo.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. We are glad to have you on set this morning.
Thank you
Not
so
being
much.
a Monday.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday indeed, anyway.
It's a Monday.
How is it going so far?
Not so bad. Not so bad. Thanks to Yango, you can always rush here and there. I had to jump on one myself. Yeah, thank you very much.
And you actually stayed far, so I'm glad you came here. You stayed, is it Lilai?
Lilai, yes.
Lilai, and you came here even before the owners.
Yeah.
You reached early, that's very good. So right now, just take a look at the story where issues of cadarism have continued. And before we play that story, Mr. Kasongo, your thoughts on issues of continued cadarism in markets. Just on Saturday, we were in Kanyama at a market called Banda Masauko Market. So now the traders there are saying political cadres have abandoned these large markets like city markets, Soweto, because they know that all the attention is there. Now they're going into the smaller markets and collecting these levies. So your thoughts on issues of cadarism, like how best can you actually curb such issues?
The issue of cadarism is not one that is simple and straightforward. Because from the political standpoint, cadarism is a necessary evil. A very necessary evil, such that,
what way?
Such that the actual political leaders, they need those cadres at some point to come and do the campaigns for them. So you find, in as much as sometimes words are given on top, directives, this should be done, this shouldn't be done, these are people who have already been used before. And somehow they are feeling that that which we worked for, that which we fought for, when we were on the other side, we were cadres. We are not a party to the cake that we should have gotten. And so we have a situation where the cadres are literally fighting their own leaders, not for anything else, but for a cake. They feel left out. So the president makes a pronouncement, we will no longer have cadres. And you can see that they are still fighting for them to gain a little something. Are we able to do away with cadres? My humble thought is it's very tricky. Let's fast forward 2026. Without the so-called cadres, who is going to do the campaigns? Now, that aside, let's now go back to the markets. They are looking for where to get a little something from.
But is the marketplace the right place
It is not
from the citizens?
It is not a right place to get something. They should go to their leaders. The leaders must make a plan for them. They are right. A Zambian is not in favor of a cadre coming to harass him in a market. The marketplace itself has very little resources. People wake up in the morning, they go to their shops, to their trading spaces. Sometimes they'll come out of the market with a 200 kwacha, a 100 kwacha, a 50 kwacha, a 50 kwacha. And somebody comes to harass them, he wants to get a little something from there. Obviously it's unfair. But the question is, has the government in place, the one fighting that cadres should not be in existence, have they put something in place for these people that they once used? And the people are saying, you guys, you used us and you're not interested in us. So the issue now is maybe the issue of cadres being in the market may not be the problem. It might be the symptom of an existing problem somewhere within the political party that they are with. During our days at UNZA, you would find students, they go to riot where? Roadside. Was the roadside the problem? No. It was just a symptom that there is a problem in campus. In the same way, these people going to the marketplace, we know that is not the problem. The problem is they are crying within their political party that we are not getting the fair share of what we fought for. And the truth is, these people fought. They are the ones who were Valajombo, Tikamenya Nkondo. They were the ones. But they seem not to be anywhere in the equation of sharing the proceeds of what they were fighting for. So while we blame the act, the question is, did you plan for them? If you haven't planned for them, they are saying, we are party to this thing. So it goes back to UPND. UPND, please handle your people. Handle your people.
But anyway, let's get direct into playing that story so that we get discussing on the other side. Can we have Market Wrangle's clip played by our director in studio? Can we have that?
Operations to flush out political cadres from markets in Zambia has been intense in major markets in Lusaka over the past few months, as it is said that these engaged in illegal collection of levies meant for local authorities. While this has been the case, traders at smaller markets, especially those located in communities, feel that they have now become a target as they are rarely visited by authorities. This is the case in Banda Masauko market of Kanyama constituency in Lusaka, where the traders allege that cadres from the ruling party charge them 5 kwacha per day, claiming that it is for maintaining sanity at the market, but are never given receipts. They also allege that the market has no proper leadership structure, leading to illegal activities thriving.
But when I come back, vacanso ndi wazambo lipirisa ma market. That's what the president wanted to promise. What promise? But it was visira. Bantu wakati kumenyewa ma market. Different vindu vavichitika ni vambiri maningi ma market. Maona ka? So stizi wa president ngawazati ganizira bwanje because vanakamba no, they'll bring vacanso. So vacanso tukalikuwa because up this time sivaoneka. Pede varipira ma 5 kwacha. Ero maona kuti business niyo vuta hapa. This time business niyo vuta. Varipisa pede 5 kwacha.
Kuzesko tenzopeleka every month tenzopeleka almost 7,000. Manja aba benzopeleka 300, 3 pin. So yapezeka kuti bazesko bill just bwanje yakula. So after yakula manje ndi kutiletera prepaid. So manje after ma confusion chairman wamenenze lipo na chairman okongapo mzake winangu anataba anachoka market then manasanka na chairman winangu benzo kumvika ati benzo menya anachukua cha secretary na chairman winangu. So wanaenda balembe sana ku police, after balembe sana ku police winangu anataba winangu aliko baoneka. So by this time market mulibena business market inaonongeka.
Meanwhile, a human rights activist within the community, Francis Kamwena, has also spoken out.
I am saying what Honorable Garin Kombo did is 100%. The government doesn't allow cadres. Police should come in now even to protect the people here in this market. We are appealing to government. Our government UPND. The PF are now laughing at us because we are telling them we never wanted them because of what used to happen. So right now they are laughing at us now. People tend up to go and vote for UPND. They are laughing at us. So we want leaders, our MP in Kanyama constituency, our councillor, we want him to come and address these issues.
In a phone interview, UPND Kanyama Ward 13 councillor Leonard Chelo says he will engage market leaders on the way forward. The traders have however called for sanity at the market, urging the Lusaka City Council to investigate the happenings. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
These are youths belonging to the governing United Party for National Development UPND protesting over the recent party loss in the Luangwa Council District chairperson elections to the Opposition Patriotic Front, lack of jobs and empowerment. Political history suggests that President Hakainde Hichilema assured the UPND cadres of good times ahead.
Do not become the new thugs in town.
We have a lot for you, more than you have ever imagined. So don't disturb, don't spoil your dish. We have a lot.
But the youths in Lusaka's Kanyama constituency feel the dish is taking too long to be ready, as leaders allegedly seem to have abandoned them, citing Secretary General Batuke Imenda. They feel the party is losing popularity after 1 year in office, given that the people on the grassroots have been neglected.
Or within our chana, our sales Munongaka Nyama, Kupezeka kuti, machani, ma structures in my branches, Yonsi Anaunongeka, because of the same Garin Combo, who is saying, Pamena Mapeza, my offices, UPN Dios and Gupra, Mwea Vare no Yapenta, Mamena Seafuniga Kunkarida. Number 2, Chamena Chakreta Pano, ni embarrassment yaba president. The issue which happened in Kukavushi when the president was on stage. My question in Yaguti Nanga ifunso yanga ni Yaguti. But president then in a court basebenza branch. There is no need ya kuti president ali pa stage then kujanzira kuti barulinga kuti leka pamene uchitachoka pa stage. That was embarrassment ya ndani ya president. Tidandaura kuti koti isebenzere pamozi na chani na president. Viva you viva. So tipempa leadership ili pamwamba iseruke ione pansi. Na president atume bansi aseruke pansi aone pamene chichitika. Instead yo nama bagazina ma president no.
The accused local government and rural development minister Gary Nkombo of crippling the party for shutting down some offices over alleged clandestine political activities, further complaining of delays to access the Constituency Development Fund CDF.
So rating Nkombo tone it down so that ayangane bantu bake bali pachani bali pansi. Nkombo stimufuna is a mayusi. Then stimufuna ba SG kuti bachechana bapitirize. Mwari teta isetifuna utaichechana ateknye over aziba problem ya bandani ya mayusi pa ground.
Kambe ko number 1 wa president still blame maning but wamena wana sankiwa izi zingono zili pansi when Gary Nkombo when SG kai stinga stay expect a president of State House abwa control situation kapena ni Msoweto kapena ndikuno nanga hivi vivantu samina nafisankira sani hivi vivantu wanavisanka vivuninga kusebenza vabwera not zembekeza wa president.
They say the president is not being told the truth on the welfare of UPND supporters and the Zambian people in general.
Free education yes iliko but ngatuli bendrama yowosha pa school pakuti mwana wako aende sanga ngene wana watu akali Mkombo just because tili bendrama tafutika muruling tafutika mu opposition tafutika futi muruling nishanchichitika
ati mapati yanangaya ba PF bali organize ma branch yabo na mapati yasebenza but chipani cha UPND chambira chepa district kuenda pamwamba kuyambira constituency kubofika pa branch chipani nicho kufa.
We want to keep the UPND in power. We stayed in opposition for 23 years. Why should we be in power for 5 years? It is shameful. Viva youth, viva!
We spoke to UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda, who by broadcast time was unable to give a comment owing to an engagement. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Musa.
So there you have it. Those are two interesting stories. So for those who are not, in case you may not have followed, earlier we played a story in Kanyama constituency at a place called Banda Masauko Market, where the traders are saying there is continued illegal collection of levies from political party cadres. And the next story that we played was actually around the same area. Just last week where we saw political party cadres, particularly from the ruling party, stating that they are not benefiting anything. So now the question is, could the status quo be the reason for the continued incidences of cadreism in the markets? So according to the traders, they're saying these cadres have abandoned major markets like City Market, Soweto Market, and others which are being monitored constantly and have instead gone into the community. So now the question is, where should political cadres benefit from? Is it from the government? Is it from the political parties? And really, what is the way forward in terms of ending harassment on citizens from political party cadres? So you can call us on the phone lines that are scrolling on your screen or leave us a message on Facebook. Your thoughts on that, Mr. Kasongo?
We have a very unique situation here. During the PF government, the major issue was cadreism, right? And the Zambians were appalled with the idea of cadreism. They really wanted to have it done away with. Why were the people, the Zambians, very angry with the issue of cadreism? It seemed they are uneducated. Those guys who they were the ones running the show. Okay? And they wanted some sanity. Those who are educated were saying to themselves, we would love to be the ones who are sitting on that platform. And somehow the UPND tapped into that frustration by the Zambians. So we have a shift. Now what we have in the UPND government is a shift. A shift from a concentration on the cadres, as the PF had, to a concentration on the educated class. all the jobs that have been created so far by the UPND government, they have benefited only the educated people. When you start counting, you will say 30,000 teachers. Those are people certified, qualified, and registered with the TCZ and so on. When you talk of the nurses, those are educated people, doctors and so on, about, is it 11,000? You talk of people in council. In fact, those who are even working without papers in council, they were all chucked out of council, right? All the jobs that have been created, they are favoring the educated class of our country to the exclusion of the uneducated people. I think the other day I heard a clip. Someone was saying, this time when they're employing soldiers, it should be those who are not educated. It's our time also. All those cries, these are in the public domain. All those cries, they are going out to pointing out one thing. There's a gap that has been created. In PF, people are saying we have a lot of unqualified people being given jobs. In the UPND, we have a reverse. The uneducated are feeling left out. And if we are to be very honest, we have more uneducated people than we have educated people. What we are looking for is a good balance. Let those who are not educated know that their citizenry and they are benefiting from the nation is not dependent on the levels of education, but just the mere fact that they are citizens. They will be respected, they will be honored, and opportunities will be created for them.
But don't you think these people are used to handouts, you know, free money? You don't have to...
Are they willing to do business?
Exactly. We have seen a government, you know, increasing CDF and calling on these people to form cooperatives.
The other day, we were in some meeting somewhere, and some people from Chiwombo came and they said we created the cooperative, and in that cooperative we are more than 300, all right? More than 300. And we are given CDF of less than 20,000 kwacha. So, while we appreciate the concept of CDF, let's also face the fact that it might be hiding a lot of issues. Lies are usually hidden in the details. So while that is there, how many people have gotten the same CDF? How are they being put together? Is it something that you will say, yes, it is going to benefit the people? So far, how many of those that applied have received the same CDF? The reason, yes, and you remember when they said the form cooperatives, you saw that a lot of people were excited about it. Where has that excitement gone? Maybe it has hit a snooze somewhere. We are no longer, people are seeing that this is not going to work out. All these things are symptoms that something is definitely not okay somewhere. And I refuse the idea that Zambians are lazy. They love handouts. That is not true. I
thought that we are not ambitious by some Chinese investors. Remember,
that is not true. That is not true. Zambians are ambitious. Let's not insult our people. We have seen people struggle from nothing. They are trying to make it.
What is missing? What's the missing link? What?
Allow me to say, from what we are seeing now, it's just leadership. We're having somebody is not joining the dots of how to awaken. On several occasions, Zipporah, I've always said, you will not do a revolution without the people. A revolution is guided by the people. They are the fuel, the engine of any revolution. And what we have seen with the UPND is that they are trying to bring about a revolution, a very good revolution. But we keep seeing something that this revolution is concentrated on the leadership itself, the presidency. We want a revolution that permeates to the people. The people must feel awakened. They must feel it's time that we wake up and do the things. Now what we hear is the president has done this, we are supposed to clap. We want him to transfer that drive to the people, to the youths, the same disgruntled youths in courts there. The same who are out in Kanyama saying, Garin Kombo is not on our side. The SG must go, we want Mwaliteta. All those are disgruntled. They are unhappy. To be disgruntled is to be unhappy with the situation here.
What do you think the implication of this, you know, the implication that having cadreism brings to the country? We have seen them continue collecting levies from the markets, you know, these small markets. Do you think, what implication does this bear? Because we have the council, and the council's mandate, Lusaka City Council, is to collect this, and in return, creating job opportunities for other people. And then if we are going to have these cadres, you know, collecting levies in this market, what do you think the implication is going to be for this country?
Somebody here from saying, people say Zambians are lazy. Do you really think those who are working in the markets are lazy? No, they're not lazy. They haven't gone to any political person to beg for bread. They have decided, hard as it might be working as a trader, let me go into town, order my things, bring them and sell. I was a market chairperson, by the way. So when you talk of the market itself, somewhere Mtendere is there. So I have this closeness with the market. At least I have an idea of what goes on in the market. The marketplace is not for UPND.
And should we see political offices? Because that's one thing.
No.
Those traders brought out this Saturday when they said they collect this money and they take it to the UPND office. So should we have?
And this is what we saw in the previous administration. They used to collect these monies and take them to, you know, the party secretariat.
The ideal situation here is that we must not have a political office in a market. It is the ground for confusion. Political parties are visited a lot of times by different individuals, right? And there will be times when an opposition political party wants to go head on with the party in government. There will be confusions in the markets if we have political offices in those markets. So the ideal thing, and Honorable Nkombo knows this, we must not have those offices in the market. They cry, like I said earlier, the reason why students would go to the roadside is not because motorists and the road had issues with them. No, it's because they had an issue to be sorted out within the campus. This is the same even in Jumbo Drive in Kitwe at Copperbelt University. They don't go there to fight the motorists. They go there to get attention. And I believe that those cadres are going to the markets because they are looking for attention. They are shouting, saying, please, Mwatire Kerela ise. We want you to attend to us. And attend to us now. So they go there, they poke the UPND leadership. They poke the government. They poke Gary Nkombo. How do you expect them to have responded had they not done the same? Go to those markets.
And really, that's something that is interesting because when we were at the market this Saturday, we found that the traders were saying they're ever getting 5 quarters from us every day, saying it's for garbage collection and all that. So I asked them, why do they take it? They said they take it to the UPND office. And I called the councillor, who's Kanyamawa, Team Councillor Leonard Chelo, and I asked, like, is the market under Lusaka City Council? And he said, yes, it is under Lusaka City Council. But where does the money go? So he says, for now, the people at the market, the leadership at the market, reports to the ward. So there's that confusion, meaning the whole thing has been politicized. Why should market leaders be reporting to a ward instead of reporting to the Lusaka City? So there's that disparity in terms of leadership at these markets.
They just need to own up. Their people have cried, and they are saying, let's be beneficiaries to this. We don't know how they are going to do it. We can't make a plan for them. But instead of blaming the cadres, let's own up and say, UPND, you are responsible for this. They are the ones in government, by the way. So the ones who are to be pointed at is UPND, and they know it. They have to put their soldiers, these are political soldiers, in order. We have heard it, and it's not just in Lusaka. You have heard cries from the Copper Belt. You have heard cries from almost all the parts of the country. The last clip that you played was from Southern Province. It wasn't from Lusaka. I think somebody was saying we even need Mwaliteta to become SG. It means that there is confusion within the party. Let them sort it out. They are lucky they still have about 3-4 years so they can clear out all these issues.
So the leadership claims they are empowering these people with cooperatives.
Are they?
Are they doing justice in addressing issues of cadreism in the country?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Or maybe the question should be like, how best, like for example, in fact, we do have a comment which I was actually reading here, which says, from someone named, is it Kanyanta Banda, who says, why should government be responsible for paying cadres? They are not civil servants. So the question comes, where should cadres get the money from? Should maybe political parties have a fund for those who supported them, or I don't know, what's the way forward? Because as long as we don't find a permanent solution, this will continue. What is the way forward?
No, we cannot have a fund.
Not under government, but under the political party.
But where will the political party get those funds? They will definitely be getting some funds.
Go back to the government and collect these levies.
We do not need that.
What's the way forward? Since they campaigned, they want to benefit. We can't employ people who are not qualified, and we can't employ people on the basis of them supporting. We must employ all Zambians. What's the way forward for cadres?
The issue of cooperatives was good. It is an excellent idea, but it seems to be ill-implemented. Who wants a cadre? You are just seated, we pay you. For what?
For Valang Jumbo.
These are handouts that we're talking about.
No. When you are a politician, you come up with a campaign team and you plan for them, right? You will pay them. They'll tell you, we'll do ABCD, and at the end of it all, we are going to pay.
That's what you got there. We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm listening to the TV this morning. I feel
who are we talking to? Oliver?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yeah. It's not as much of contribution. I just want to ask. I know government relies so much on this civil servants of employees, teachers, doctors. But my concern is, why do not focus in us who do not employ in the government sector, like some of us go these private companies? I remember it's about 2 months, I think 1 month. There's I can't mention it, it's on the government part. When they come to our company, they don't come and address how to work on that company. They just come straight, talk to the boss, and then coming out. They don't come and ask what the problem, the challenges that we are facing in our company. They just come, talk to the process, and then go out. So I don't know where we are going at. We don't work in the government. I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that should be directed to the Ministry of Labor. Like if they do an inspection on various companies, like find out the condition, how the employees there are working, you know, how the conditions are.
Yes, I think it still falls under trending issues, whereby we're talking about all the things that people expect to see now under the UPND. And maybe having done a lot of labor stories, we've seen the same complaint from employees saying whatever they were going through previously, they're still going through it now. So they've not really seen that change from the Ministry of Labor. We've seen many, many issues. So maybe really in acknowledging the caller, what's your observation from the way things are being done in the labor sector? We do have up to another phone. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. You're through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution?
Yes, my name is Joseph Karawa.
Okay.
I am calling from Copperbelt, from Mumindoro.
It's good to know that Copperbelt is watching this morning.
Yes, good morning, madam.
Please.
I want to found out from you, madam, to talk about cadres. Yes, and the campaign period is a no cadres for British Party. Now, yes, this time found everywhere cadres working like a smart government. So, like, that's a problem. It starts from the party, not from the education.
Please go ahead. We didn't hear your question. I think it was commenting on the issue of cadres, but I think you paused the question at the end.
Yeah, though I didn't get it clearly before he hung up. But anyway, please do call us back or send us a message on Facebook. We will be able to read it through. Yeah.
You can go ahead and respond to the issue of labor concerns.
That one is even very interesting because I don't think the man was addressing us. I think he was taking an opportunity of the platform.
The platform,
to
exactly.
speak to
But
government.
he didn't say the name of his company, right?
Sometimes
for security reasons,
yes,
he
sometimes
wouldn't want to say that.
Sometimes you just put it across. And you know that where you say something and somehow the other people in the other companies are saying that's what we are thinking also. And what people are looking for, I've always made this argument. We are poor people. As a husband, most of the husbands are poor. What keeps our wives with us may just be the fact that one, we are available, we listen. And these people are exactly in the same thing. UPND is the husband, the current leader that we have. And they are saying to themselves, we are crying down here. You may not be available to provide the immediate solutions, but the mere presence that you offer us, knowing that you are here to listen to us, is a lot to us. His cry is that these people are not listening to us. When they come to our companies, they are not there to sit down with us. They just sit with the entrepreneurs, the corporate leaders. They talk it out from there, then they go. So he's saying, we want them to come down and listen to us. And unfortunately for them, they'll always be compared with the previous government. So you hear, like you are saying, others were saying, in the past government and in the present government, things have not changed. They are still the same things. So the man is saying, we haven't seen a change so far. We are not being heard. It is even more fearful because this government is seen as being capitalistic in nature. And capitalism does not necessarily put the laborer in the equation. Get the work done at whatever cost becomes the thing. So let not this government give the people the impression that they are not cared for. The man was just caught. The man was just caught. Where does he fall? He falls together with those who are looking for employment, not those who are giving employment. Which means he's in the same category to some extent in courts with the cadres. He's on the other side of the equation. And people are generally crying that the government is not paying attention to us. We need this government to become a little bit pro-poor. Let them start thinking, yes, capitalism assumes that when those with the instruments of production prosper, then the rest will also prosper. But when you are a government, you want to take care of that person in Karikiriki, alleviate his poverty, by way of different ways. If it will take a bit of subsidies here and there, by somehow think of them. I remember a story of Kapwepwe, Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe. There had some issues on the copper belt. He comes and everybody was all agitated and excited by the situation. When he comes and everybody, I think they had increased some taxes. I read it in the Kapwepwe diaries. They had increased some taxes. Then he says, when he goes on the platform, everybody was against them. Because he who increases taxes in government is not loved. You can't love somebody who will be adding, no, not at all. So they were on him. Then he started telling them, you guys, Tekwega told to us increase our taxes. They are going to affect you. We are just transferring Urupia from these people with money down to you. What was Kapwepwe doing? Upon finishing, those people were very frustrated and angry. What did they do? They started clapping because they felt that a leader was on their side. Now we have a situation where a lot of people are crying. Cadres, they are cadres, and we are not talking about ZMP cadres or UPN or Socialist Party cadres or DP cadres. We are talking about their own cadres are crying. What of the other people who do not have a platform to express themselves on? So the issue we are looking at is people, we have cadres crying. That person who is from crying for attention is a worker and is representing the many workers out there who are saying, please government, think about us. That you have employed 30,000 teachers. I'm sorry to put it across to you, Mr. UPND. It is insignificant. Look at the numbers that applied. How many applied to be teachers? It was more than 100,000. Put it in percentage terms. That is about 30% of those who applied, besides those who did not apply. So the issue is even bigger. It is very big.
Okay, so we actually didn't have another comment here, but this person seems to be in support of Karaism. He says, the UPA, this is from Mr. Walia Melu, who says, the UPND cadres have been disciplined in the past. The PF cadres did more than collect money from the markets. Remember the markets and beatings. So while there's an issue with collecting money from markets, don't throw the baby out with the water. So
what is he saying?
He's saying UPND cadres endured beatings and are better in comparison, according to him, in comparison to PF. So in as much as we agree that collecting money is an issue, don't throw the baby out with the water. So maybe meaning that they should benefit or something. But
the question is exactly the right place for them to benefit
from a trader. Did the trader send them to go and campaign out there?
I think on this platform, personally, I haven't put across that cadres are not needed. I think any reasonable person will agree that it's the behaviors that we saw in the cadres which needed to be changed. And the same behavior we are now seeing right now. So, Babwadia, we are agreeing with you that cadres are not babies to be thrown out. They are a two that brought Kaunda into leadership. They are the same two that brought Churuva into leadership. And Mwanawasa into leadership. And Banda into leadership. They have been there. We are saying the way they have acted, can't we improve on that? We do not wish to see them harassing the citizens. When they are fighting that a leader becomes a leader, they are fighting that the people finds a good life from a good leader. Instead of them becoming a nuisance, let them do what they can to make life go forward. But we are against the idea of them going into the market. What we are saying, let UPND own up. What we are seeing with these uprising of their own cadres is a cry that you have left us out. We need also to be remembered in your programs. We can see other people benefiting. You see, this one has gone into government. What of your child? What of your husband who was living early in the morning saying, "Tuam campaigner, campaigner mpaka UPND win, mpaka litente," they used to say, and yes, it's tented, but it's tented on who?
But do you think in the long run there's hope, to completely stop these illegal activities of cadres collecting levies in the market?
Hope is there. Hope is definitely there. We can't rule out that. Hope is there. But that hope will only be achieved when a tentative program is set for the same cadres.
Do you suggest there is need for a mindset change, maybe lessons or what for the cadres, so that we, tell them, the relevant political parties, tell them that, this is what you need to do? Because as it stands right now at the moment, they have this concept that we fought for this party, we need to benefit. There's nowhere we can be left out like this or thrown away, like our previous viewer said.
Madam, a mindset change you are talking about. How are you going to have a mindset change? If I fight for you, you start benefiting. Then you want me to have a mindset change as I want to eat. How is that possible? And this anger, you know, let's help the government face the reality. These people are real. They were the people that were going to then they would plan together, but these people have disappeared from the people they were with. People are angry, and I'm talking about the UPND themselves. They are frustrated. As I speak, they know that what I'm saying is true. They go to all the compounds. These victories were not won by one person. No, they were won by people, real people like you and myself, going out, campaigning, creating WhatsApp groups, being promised. And that frustration is there. That's what they say. UPND is being won in good time. The current generation is very funny. Allow me to say, we are impatient. The idea that every government that comes will last 10 years and above is not true anymore. Decisions are made at the last minute. What I am looking at on my WhatsApp and Facebook right now goes viral. Within 2 hours, it might have gone to the entire nation. Those who do not have WhatsApp, they will be told, Mwamvera. So for them to assume that they are safe right now is not true. Let them take care of their own soldiers. Their own soldiers are crying. Do they think that 1 million is a small number? They will just talk, and a new leader will just pop up from nowhere, boom, and that person becomes the leader of the country in 5 years.
What do you think is the solution of taking care of their own soldiers?
Their own soldiers.
What solution, or rather, would you bring across to them?
I have said it. They have a good plan of cooperatives. But that cooperatives, so far, their own people are seeing it as a facade. Something just to cover up their faces. How long is it taking for them to get that? How much are they getting out of that? Are they trained enough? We have always said every youth in employment, right? That's what we are looking for. They have accused youths as being lazy. From the onset, I've said, no, our youths are not lazy. They are strong people who are willing to go out there and work. If they are given that, they were excited about cooperatives. But these cooperatives have not yet done what they are supposed to do. When you talk to some of the MPs and political leaders within the UPND, they will tell you the issue of CDF is a big issue. It's not easy to touch it. They're even scared to handle the CDF itself because it is too political. So the issue is just them first and foremost. Implement the cooperative thing. It can work to their own advantage. Implement it. It will prove to be very good because businesses will be created. And as more businesses are created, more people will begin to benefit. But as long as that is not done, it is just being used as a political statement to use for them to use to defend themselves when they are cornered. That youths are not getting employment so that they can use it to say, we told you to form cooperatives. Trust me, numbers are there. They responded. They responded. There was a time that we were told at Pakra it is packed. The Pakra has a backlog of work to do. And a lot of them have done that. Out of 30, 100 cooperatives, they pick 2. Only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Compared to the 100 applications for cooperative funds. How does that settle on the Zambian? It settles as a failure. A group of people must come together. What business? You haven't yet trained them. They don't even have financial knowledge. That money will be gotten and misused. You will try to put in stringent measures to make sure that that is handled properly. It leads to people just coming out saying they are just using us to make a political name. So, my dear, it still remains that the UPND must honor. If funds need to be provided, let them be provided.
And moving on also in trending issues, we can also talk about the issue of accidents that we've seen recently. So just on Saturday, we saw a tragic accident that happened along Great East Road near the University of Zambia. I'm sure you followed that issue.
Yes.
Yes, well, I've seen a number of accidents, and people really have been calling for maybe the issuing of licenses to be made more strict, because we've seen that people have been careless, and also we've seen that most of the roads do not have this police presence. So really, when it comes to curbing accidents, what's your view on that?
First and foremost, it is becoming a bit embarrassing, especially on the UPND side, because they really have to backtrack a lot of things, and somehow they'll end up settling in the PF ways of doing things. PF, when they just came, they said no more road blocks and so on. Yes, UPND. They said no more road blocks. That's what they said. Yes. I'm not misquoting them. I remember too well.
Yes.
They said no more road blocks. We do not need them. What have we seen? The absence of those people on the street has caused a lot of accidents, and people are dying in numbers. Just this morning, I wake up, my wife is saying, have you heard that these people have been told to go back to the road? Which means maybe we are going back to them. When I go out here, maybe I'll meet them. Because they are now supposed to come back. Meaning, when they were campaigning saying we do not need these people on the road, they didn't do a background check. Maybe they are doing a lot of good in the process.
But don't you think that maybe this has been abused in the past? For example, the other time we saw an accident along Nangwenya Road, because there's a woman who tried to U-turn. She didn't know that at the corner there was a traffic, there's a roadblock. So some of them, they feel as if, some motorists feel as if police set up roadblocks anyhow, anywhere as it suits them. So, like, is it just last year we saw an accident there along Nangwenya Road? Because I don't know if the woman didn't have everything that she needed to have, and when she saw a roadblock, she U-turned, and in U-turning suddenly she hit a pedestrian. So those surprise roadblocks, are they not a danger in themselves?
They are a danger. Of course, they are a danger. But what can you do? Are you supposed to inform the people?
Are we supposed to have surprise roadblocks, or maybe just at the designated places?
Designated road places is even better. As provide as many as possible. And the policemen, the cry of the past, in the past regime, was that they were unfair to the people. There was too much corruption and so on and so forth. They would just put up a roadblock anywhere they felt like putting, and that was putting down the Zambian people themselves. So I remember being so angry with the police, because it was enmity between the citizens and the policemen. These are people who we want to go to run into when you have an issue. But they were like, they are looking for you to have a problem with them. They want you to have an issue. If you don't have an issue, they have an issue with you for not having an issue with them. That is how it was feeling like. Now, in the New Dawn government, if these guys are coming back, we are saying, let them be more professional in what they are doing. We want them to be professional. Surely, you can even see that this issue needs me to be advised. You make a big issue out of it, making me... So I'm telling you, I'll solve this issue right now. I'm going to sort it out. But they are there. They want to make sure that you are punished there. So powerful people. So you create a...
And you leave something in return.
In return, you have no choice. Because you are not seeing a friend, you are seeing a foe, an enemy to you. So you end up corrupting them. Not that because you want to be corrupt, no. But you can see that the cost of me paying for 5 crimes that now have been given, which are A, B, C, D, they are going to tell you this crime is 350, that one is 400, that one. Then when you put together your figure 25, what are you going to do? Do you have a 25? Kafiwe or parade? What are you going to do? You end up being corrupt. So sometimes the corruption is actually coming from an induced situation. You are forced to be corrupt. But we want in the New Dawn government the policemen to be our friends. They should show more concern for us than their need for a little something from our pockets. When they go back to the roads, and we have seen the effects of their absence, we need you.
They would just like you put it, you know, they won't find you with any crime, but they'll look for that crime, and then in return you have to pay them and leave them something. Do you think by them being on the road again, and then we continue seeing such activities happening, are we fighting corruption?
Pros and cons. Pros and cons here. Think of it. How many people died? We had, was it a canter where 22 people from UCZ died?
Yes, on 19.
That was in a canter, right? It
Yes.
wasn't a bus.
No.
Is it allowed to move by canter?
It's not.
It's not allowed.
It's not allowed to ferry people behind. I remember it was just last year that people were actually being discouraged and lost. But then we've seen this same vice continue, where you find people packed like, and you know, many people go scot-free because there's no one to actually stop them on the road. You know, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just take a look at the story of the accident that occurred on Saturday along Great East Road. Join us on the other side. This is the scene of a tragic road accident that occurred Saturday morning at around 6 hours along Great East Road in Lusaka, near the main gate of the University of Zambia, leading to 11 lives being lost. This comes a few days after 23 lives were lost in similar circumstances in Kaputa district of Northern Province on Monday, 19 September 2022. Eyewitnesses have told Camnet News that the accident happened when the driver of a public service Toyota Hiace minibus went on the wrong lane in an attempt to drive back and pick up a passenger with an oncoming Zambia National Service ZNS truck.
Penza fika hapa paunza. Enza ona huku kwenze muntu ezofuna kwenda kutown. So eve after ona muntu huku. Ndiye penza afuna chaka yutani paja pakona paja. Afuna chaka yutani kubwera kuno kutatenga uyu muntu ezofuna kwenda wao ku side. So penza afika hapa nishuku kubwera itruck ya ZNS nshanyamula excavator pamwamba. So mwenza anyamula excavator after aiona kuja windani wa truck after muona ezofuna mulewa sana kwanise kuti amulewe kai nishangera kudala afuno tenga uyu muntu ezo. So ndiye penza amenyera ku side kwake kuja kuli driver kuja
wajubika bakati pamuntu matumbo wonse nzadobera mu drainage penza brad muntu kuduka wenango. So apa ma traffic lights apa sali musha apa apa ma traffic lights zafunga kaya konzi apa pantu apa spari musha pangala ma accident ambiri maningi nesanzira parusha house apa nima atamba ma accident amina mashitika maningi apa
sanga choke muleni yakuja bwa joine mulira nani iwe yaukwi. That's why apaisa vanhu ayona matamba minibus driver muzisi not atyo urefu aenda lama abantu kupoza kwa mano kubantu omurei tamwimya manani kane tamwimya fishimbi nangu shani. So apaisha mwabaka erioko.
According to Zambia Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga, the minibus driver is among those dead.
The accident involved a male driver, warrant officer class 2, by the name of Spoon, who was driving a Zambia National Service low-bed truck registration number ZNS 666F from west to east, whose damage was the front part, which was extensively damaged, and the driver died on the spot. Also involved was a non-male driver who was driving a Toyota Hiace, registration number ARB 2617 from the direction of east to west, which had 14 passengers on board. The deceased have been deposited in University Teaching Hospital mortuary, Barry.
Meanwhile, former Transport and Communications Minister under the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD government, William Harrington, says there is need to introduce reasonable traffic fines to deter drivers from road traffic violations.
As it is now, the traffic fines are exorbitant and they are a recipe for corruption. And I've always said so, because if the traffic fines are too high, you find that there's corruption between the motorists and the traffic officers. And by increasing them, it only increases corruption and the chances of corruption taking place between traffic police and the motorists.
By broadcast time, the accident scene was still being cleared, with many onlookers watching on in shock, urging drivers to exercise extra caution on the road. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The death toll of the road traffic accident that occurred in the wee hours of yesterday on the Great East Road, Unze Junction, has increased from 11 to 12. The scenes of yesterday are hard to understand and left everyone in utter shock and fear. According to the initial police report, a Zambia National Service officer who was driving a truck carrying an excavator died on the spot. From the Toyota Hiace minibus, 9 passengers sustained fatal injuries, while 5 passengers sustained serious injuries and are all admitted at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. The driver of the minibus was among the dead, comprising of 7 males and 4 females. Another vehicle involved was a Toyota Corolla. The driver escaped unhurt. The 8 bodies of the deceased were deposited in the University Teaching Hospital's mortuary, while the 3 are at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital mortuary. So far, 6 out of the 11 deceased persons from the accident have been identified. Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha, earlier Councillor Lubasimi Lupi, and Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Pollen and his team visited the affected bereaved families to provide food supplies. They visited the funeral house of Musa Mwanza in Kaunda Square Stage 2, who was proceeded to Kaunda Square Stage 1, and visited the funeral house of the now deceased Stephen Kazila, who was in his 20s and left behind a baby boy. They also visited the house of Nancy Piri, who died at the age of 45 and has left behind a child. The family has plentifully appreciated government's gesture. The team also visited the funeral house of Sunday Chileshe, who died at the age of 29 and was the driver of the Toyota Hiace minibus. Mr. Mposha hopes that the bereaved families will agree to have a mass burial.
Through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, the government has provided some foodstuffs to support the bereaved families as they mourn their beloved ones. So in this support, we have bags of mealie meal. So for each family, they have been given 10 bags of 25 kg each, and 20 kgs of rice, and as well as beans, 50 kg of beans.
He has further indicated that his office will work with other government departments to curb the increase in road traffic accidents.
Ones are very unnecessary. The Unza Road accident should not even have happened. It shouldn't have happened. The policemen are supposed to do their job. The job of a policeman is to make sure that the laws are being followed. But in this case, you can see that in most of the instances, when you talk of the accidents, those accidents are happening when the policemen are not in the place, in those areas. In the areas where policemen are, such things will not happen. What we want is police presence. And we have indicated, I've said it, we do not want a police service that intimidates its people. We want a police service, when you are with them, you can tell that these are on my side. You wear a seat belt. Don't move away without wearing your seat belt. Ah, sorry, Bwana, I wear the seat belt. You wear your seat belt. Not making an issue that shows that you are not listening to what your people are saying. Please be on the road and be on our side. We will follow you. Zambians are listening people. We are the, I think in the world, we are the most humble, most law-abiding people in the entire world. So if the policemen can trust us, that is going to help us. Allow me to say, from the political side, this is not registering well on the side of the UPND also. Because these dates are coming because of the sanctions that were given that the police presence should come out. Somehow, we thank you for trusting us. But the past days are showing that even ourselves, we can't trust ourselves.
We can be trusted.
Can you? Miriam, are you sure you can be trusted?
I can be.
When we just go out, you'll be the one overspeeding to go and collect news somewhere. So in the end, we are saying we need police presence, but this police presence must act in a more professional, different way compared to what we saw in the PF. Intimidatory, one where you could even tell that these people are not acting under professional terms. They are acting to intimidate his presence. The policemen are our friends. We need them. We need them to do their job. So the Unza accident is a very unfortunate thing. We are saying we could do better. Our people are our resources. We don't need to lose anybody from these unnecessary deaths of accidents. I was about to give a word on the issue of the 22 who died. Which place was that? Kaputa. Those deaths were very unfortunate. Again, you see lawlessness there. because we know that trucks are for goods, not for people. Counters are for goods, not for people. If the policemen were there to make sure that people, it's very painful. People want cheap transport, obviously. But sometimes when the policemen tell you do this, it is painful, but you are doing. And in the process you are saved. Iwe usapite up without a seat belt. Some of you will tell, some people will tell you in a seat belt, nimamvera furu banifianta nikangwa kupema. Yeah, especially you ladies. You sit with her here, but my friend, these people are not fighting you. They are just telling you to make sure that you wear the seat belt. Is good for you. From a physics point of view, we know that if I'm driving at 120 km per hour, it means that even my body is moving at the same speed, right? And when I have a crash, a sudden stop, the car will stop because it has somewhere to stop. My body, if it is unprotected, will continue moving at 120 kilometers per hour. Which means you will crash in the window. If the window can't provide an equal opposing force, you will crash through it. Go and hit somewhere outside there.
Very important to fasten our seat belt, indeed.
That's an interesting analysis right there.
Yes. That's the scientific side, and it's very honest. So when you sit next to someone, you are telling them wear the seat belt. You know that the ZNS, from what we are getting, did not cause the accident. It was the bus driver who caused the accident. What is that telling you? My friend, no matter how safe you are, you will not always be responsible for the accidents you find yourself in.
You be careful, but someone else may not be careful.
The point,
and
exactly.
Living the same road.
Exactly. So you are not the one who, but you can put in measures which, if somebody comes and causes an accident, you are not going to suffer too much. You will not die in the process. At least you will live to tell a tale saying, no, I wore my seat belt and somebody caused an accident. So those are important aspects. We need the police. We need our people also to make sure that they are following the traffic rules. Physics is real, by the way. Like I'm from analyzing, when they tell you inertia at school, don't think inertia is just a joke. They are telling you that a body will continue in its state of motion. And at 120, my friend, that's a very high speed. You will die. And you won't die well.
And just before we move on, Mr. Kasongo, maybe you can just respond to the comment.
Yes, as we move on and, coming to the close of our program this morning, we have a comment on Facebook which says, I'm sure the viewer wanted to say Mr. Kasongo instead of Mr. Wadia. I want to hear about your take about the FISIP program, what these people have done from the new cooperatives, leaving others to continue benefiting from the same old cooperative. How do you think those that have been removed feel that their names are...
Question. There are issues to this matter. Number one, being removed from the FISIP list might be because those were corrupt. They are on the list and they don't deserve to be on the list. It is also possible that those people who have been placed on the list are now on the list correctly because they deserve to be on the list. We are aware that some people are not even in the farming processes, but they were receiving farming inputs. That's a loss to the people, because when Miriam farms, and she does very well, her products are sold to FRA. Besides FRA, they are also sold to other milling companies and those that are involved in the produces that she has. And in the end, the beneficiary is myself. So in the instance that we have a situation where we're fighting for a just society, we must not be seen to be vindictive. So, but David, if you know some people who are correctly supposed to be there, they are involved in farming, and these supplies are no longer reaching them. They have been removed not necessarily for anything else, but for corrupt reasons. Then those people must be reported. And we hope that the just ACC and DEC and all those involved in fighting corruption will do justice. Again, let's also face this one fact, The government in place has a lot to play in the way issues are run. So if corruption is tolerated by the government, then that is going to stick. If our president is anti-corruption full-time, then that is going to stick. We'll see it through his actions, through all that he's doing. So in short, but David, what we are saying, 80,000 or something were removed from the list, not very easy. You as a researcher, are those people deserving to be on the list? And us as politicians, such hints, they make us go back and research. Who was removed? Why were they removed? Was it on political grounds? Was it because certain people of a different region must benefit more? Are we doing the right thing by the citizen? And that is very important, extremely important on our side. We hear you, and the government is listening.
We are concluding. Among the trending issues that we are talking about is the issue of you see a lot of property getting destroyed, people's houses get soaked, but then you find that during this dry period we are not really active in constructing drainages. So really, being area of expertise, what's your comment on those issues?
Right now, I think all of us, we are concerned because the rain season, by the way, is my favorite season. It's a favorite season. I think in rain season you have all the seasons. This day it's very cold, the other day it's very sunny, then you have some rains. I think most of us love rains, but you can't love rains when you stay in Kanyama.
You can't walk and you find that the pit latrines, there's flooding.
You can't love rains when you cannot love rains. You can't. Government which experienced the government which experienced their first rain season last year, enjoyed moving nicely, is about to end in the coming few weeks, few months. It should be. I'm told we'll be having some rains next month. I'm told Lusaka going of enjoying this good movement. After that, those areas I've talked about, it will be kafwafwa. You can't move, you can't go for work, the roads are very bad. Now, what are we saying to the government of the day? We are saying, government, the party in power, we are not looking forward to disasters. I was looking at the Disaster Management Act of 2010. It is saying that act was put in place to anticipate. To anticipate means you look at how things will be in the future. What are the potentials that we are going to see? What are the things that can happen in the future which we can prevent now in this area?
And are we going to reduce diseases if we're not sorting out the issue of drainages?
And that's where I'm going also. How can we say we are going to sort out when nothing has been done towards that? Because sorting out means the water must be flowing. If water is not flowing, diseases. So far as we as